Hello, I'm Patrick Moore.
I'm Marlisa, McLaughlin.
Welcome to Health Buzz.
Perspectives on natural health.
In the last year, in our Health Buzz show, we've covered many topics on natural perspectives and health. We've looked at music and music's influence on our health, healing, remarkable ability to change the outcome of a healing condition. Marlisa and I have looked at all kinds of world's healthiest foods and how they can affect our health therapeutically and prevent premature aging. We've even looked at essential oils, the heart and soul of plants, and how they can affect our senses and improve our health. But no matter how devoted we are to having a perfect diet, lifestyle, exercise, and supplements, without emotional health within ourselves and inner peace, which is so absolutely essential to our physical health, it's going to be very difficult to have a healing condition. Many times, and I speak from personal experience, and I think all of you out there in the audience can relate to this, we build up these emotional barriers and blockages. We can have repressions and guilt and resentment, anxiety, negative thoughts filtering through us, fear, an inability to love ourselves and to forgive ourselves and to forgive those around us. And that can cause this emotional blockage that curtails our ability to really reach an organic, holistic health condition. And that affects everybody around us. With these blockages and the lack of an emotional wellness and homeostasis and well-being, you can hurt a lot of people around you. So today we're going to talk about emotional freedom technique in terms of how it can free us from a lot of these barriers and blockages and move on and move forward with our health. But before we get to that show and our guest today, which we're delighted to have this wonderful guest that's going to show us how to do it, Marlisa has a new news bulletin.
So today our natural news bulletin has to do a little bit with the change of seasons and what you probably have noticed out your window looking into your yard, those little yellow flowers.
Oh, you mean those weeds? What do they call those weeds?
I don't know about weeds, but dandelions. So we're going to talk about dandelions. So they're actually not weeds only, they're also medicine.
Now, how do you translate? What is dandelion tree? You know, I heard it has an interesting name,
Yeah,
right?
the origin of the word is the teeth of the lion. And so when I learned that, I thought it was so fun remembering when you're a kid and you're out in the field and you're looking at them and there's that burst of yellow. It makes you feel happy right instantly. And it does look like a lion's mane. And then I thought, yeah, the teeth too, if you turned it upside down.
But don't most people want to get rid of those?
They do,
I mean,
and they add to the environmental dangers with pesticides.
Yeah, so we drive by all the time and we see those weeds on the road, those dandelions, those yellow things. We kind of take it for granted. But what's remarkable is recently that medicine studies are showing that this is one of the most therapeutic weeds or bitter herbs on earth. And I mean, recently up in Canada, University of Windsor, they're finding that the dandelion made into a tea, extracted and put into a tea form, is being used to treat cancer patients. What they've done, Marlisa, is they've taken it and freeze-dried it and made it into a powder, about much more powerful than what you would get in a health food store. But they're finding in animal models where they transfer human cancer cells into the animal models, when it comes to pancreatic cancer, melanoma, leukemia, colon cancer, prostate cancer, it's causing complete disintegration of the cancer cells within 48 hours. It's called apoptosis. Remarkable. So clinical trials are, and dandelion, of course, that's what's going on right today with cancer research. But if we look back to the old days, it has a long history of all kinds of health applications.
Used and one thing I wanted to add to that was they'll attack the cancer cell, but not other cells.
Oh, good point, yes.
It's very important. It's an intelligent weed.
Unlike chemotherapy, which just kills everything and wipes out everything, the dandelion just affects the cancer cells. So, again, these are in animal models, but now they're doing clinical trials at the University of Windsor in Ontario. And, other applications, if you ever get bloated, dandelion tea, things like that can reduce fluid retention. Traditionally, it's always been used as a liver tonic to detoxify the liver. It builds up all kinds of bile and acids and what are called bicarbonates, so it can break down fats in the liver, so tremendous for the liver. And even for diabetics recently, studies have shown that drinking, 3 times a day a cup of dandelion tea can have a positive effect on balancing blood sugar. So, I guess...
So get out there and pick your dandelions. We have a recipe for you for tea, dandelion tea. You can use the tea from your local health food store, but making it at your house is easy and far more potent.
Yeah, you can also take those, I never thought of this before, but I've seen people take the dandelion, the actual yellow flower, and put it into soups, put it into stews. They can actually cook with it, make it into an omelet and things like that. So there are many applications for that dandelion. So I guess, that weed that we kind of discarded, Marlisa, is something we should have second thoughts about.
Absolutely. And also at the end of the dandelion's life, when it turns into that beautiful puffy white group of seeds, you can make a wish and increase your emotional health with a dandelion.
Yeah, and one last point before we end up the dandelion story. When you see those weeds, the dandelion flowers on your lawn, one caution: if there's a lot of pesticides and herbicides on your lawn, I don't think it's a good idea to pick them unless you wash them thoroughly before you make a tea or a soup or cook them actually or fry them.
Right, and watch your pets. You want to watch where your pets are going also near the dandelions. So.
Okay, so that's the dandelion story. So Marlisa, would you introduce our guest?
Oh, I'd love to. We have a great, very interesting, wonderful person joining us today. She is a certified emotional freedom technique practitioner as well as a hypnosis coach. Her name is Teresa Baumgart. Welcome, Therese.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome.
And you have an enormous line of qualities that follow along with the emotional freedom technique. You also do group sessions with weight loss and
Weight loss, clearing clutter, and attracting prosperity. And also individual sessions of those. A lot of weight loss.
Yeah, so emotional freedom technique. It's not something that everyone knows about, everyone's heard of, even though it's being used worldwide. It's growing across the United States. What exactly does EFT, or emotional freedom technique, mean?
EFT, or emotional freedom technique, sometimes called tapping, or EFT tapping, is a method of clearing and release. And what it can clear and release is negativity, negative symptoms, negative states of mind and body. And what it can help you do is tap in positives, uplifting thoughts, and more resourceful states of being. And it can help turn confusion into clarity and distress into confidence. It can do what's called a reframe. It can give you an aha moment so that something that was a strong block or something very negative will seem really doable and workable. It's just a beautiful way of turning a negative situation around.
So the origin of it is, they call it psychological acupressure.
It is. It has been called psychological acupuncture. Yes,
so
it has.
So we're taking from the traditions of ancient Chinese traditional medicine, where we all got acupuncture 20, 30 years ago. It was something foreign that came to the United States, and now everyone knows what acupuncture is, a concept of this qi and energy and all these meridians running through the body, and putting those needles in can open up all kinds of unblock, all kinds of barriers.
Exactly, and that's why they call it psychological acupuncture. So EFT is a method of tapping on the endpoints of acupuncture meridians. Fortunately, no needles, just fingertips, very safe. And we combine that with tuning in to whatever distress that we are going through, any kind of negativity, because the mind and body work together. Some people like me, even think that the body is just the part of the mind that you can see. The mind and body work together. And because of that, that's really good news, because then we have the opportunity to release the negativity from the mind and symptoms from the body.
I'm really excited. I loved when I first spoke with you. I had asked you how you got involved with this, and your response was initially that you just have always been interested in psychology and how the mind works.
Yes.
And I also that stimulated me too, because I also am. And so you were talking also about you work independently in North Haven.
Yes, I do. I
Connecticut?
have a practice in North Haven.
But you also work collaboratively with psychiatrists and.
I receive referrals from healthcare professionals sometimes. On written referral, I only see someone who has
Written referral.
certain conditions on written referral. The main bulk of my client is healthy individuals who are going through difficulties in life just like the rest of us.
So it's a great tool to have in the tool basket, definitely.
So to sort of summarize about actually how you do it, it's taking your fingers and inputting this kinetic energy almost into this meridians, acupoints, acupressure points in the head and the chest, and then voicing affirmations about whatever the concern is, turning around negative thoughts and more positive actions or whatever it might be. You as a practitioner guide the patient or the client, right?
The client. EFT is very holistic and completely flexible so that it is excellent to use for self-care and also guidance with a practitioner. It lends itself to both.
Okay.
And yes, it is tapping on acupressure points while being tuned in to whatever it is you are trying to release, what you would not like to have anymore.
So it's a reprogramming of sorts. So it's
It is.
definitely.
Reprogramming the hard drive.
Yeah, that's great.
And you're trying to overcome these short circuits we have in our sort of biochemical energy in our body that are blockages and barriers and open them up. So, there's a release of some kind.
The tapping process, there's many explanations for actually how the tapping process works, different theories. The way I like to explain it is that it calms the flight or fight or freeze response, and it lowers the stress hormone cortisol in the body so that you can come to a place of balance and your meridians are balanced and the energy can flow.
And so I just want to jump in here because some of you may not know what a meridian is. And I think a really fun, simple way to think about it is just like, I always think Route 66, like just how things travel from one part of your, but no, I'm just because I like to have fun, I have to use my imagination. So if you have a car wreck on Route 66, you got to get it out of there for the rest of the traffic to get down to your feet. Simple way? Fun enough? That's pretty the
Yeah, and of course
easiest
in
thing.
acupuncture, you have those meridians they're almost like streams and rivers all running through your body.
And
very
the
sensitive
Chinese, they
points.
actually use that terminology
Exactly.
in Chinese
Right.
health.
And they believe a lot of times, there are blockages that develop, in qi and our energy and things like that. So if we can unblock those, our circulation flows, cortisol reduced, as you were saying, many therapeutic applications. So can we, where do we want to go now? Do you want to do a demonstration?
Well, I did
Or
have a
you-
question. I was wondering if so you teach people how to perform this themselves, but
Yes.
what would distinguish when the person themselves might know they need to do it themselves or to accompany with a practitioner?
Okay, EFT lends itself to self-care and also guidance by a practitioner. Self-care is perfectly fine as long as what you are trying to release is simple, not serious.
For example, like what would be, for some people, something simple like talking on the phone could be very, very complicated.
Right. If you have tried EFT for yourself and you have not received the results that you are looking for, then it's time to, or if you are dealing with a very serious and complex issue, that is also the time to look for guidance. As long as you are using the technique on yourself and you're receiving the benefits, then continue. Go ahead, you're doing great. Okay.
And then you can contact, when the time is right, your practitioner if you need more help.
Right. If the subject is very deeply upsetting, a lot of stress, a lot of upset, something that is extremely complex, yeah, then you should seek help.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good answer.
So can we do a demonstration? And
Sure.
just one thing before we do that demonstration, I just want to make a couple testimonials, as a practitioner. When I first heard about emotional, freedom technique, it sounded, these tapping, it kind of sounded, well, it's kind of funny.
Like
Is
you
that-
tapped, right?
Yeah, tap dance on your face or something like that. But one of my great heroes, Dr. Joseph Mercola in Chicago, runs one of the best holistic medical doctor clinics in the United States. He has stated that out of all the traditional and alternative therapies he's used, that emotional freedom technique was the best and got the best results of any therapy he used. When I heard him, a guy with his credibility, give that testimonial, and right here in Connecticut, one of my good friends, Dr. Adam Briner, in Fairfield, one of the great naturopathic doctors in the state of Connecticut, if not the United States, is a tremendous advocate of it, and basically based on their clinical experience. So when you have these two giants in naturopathic medicine who are saying, wow, this stuff really works, I said, I have to learn it. I can't just say, oh, people are just, tapping all over their face, and what kind of a game is this? It's for real, and there's some real good science behind it.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
show us what we can do. Let's get
Can
a
I just give
demonstration.
you a little drop of background about how this came to be?
I would love that.
There is a whole lineage of pioneers, researchers, scientists, and practitioners, going back to the Chinese medicine, as you mentioned, that have come from different disciplines to what has now evolved as EFT. And the person that has synthesized it, made it very simple and accessible to the whole world, is a gentleman from California named Gary Craig. And Gary Craig is a self-taught student of psychology and a genius at simplifying things, putting them out to the whole world on his website, and producing DVDs. So Gary Craig does not call himself the inventor, he calls himself the founder of EFT. So he is my guru, and I'm very privileged that I got to attend several of his in-person workshops when he was still in practice.
Okay, well, let's take a look and see what he's taught you.
So right. And I want to say what it's good for. Can I give a little about
Okay, sure.
the reason that you might want to use EFT is because it lowers stress. It releases negative states of mind, such as anger, frustration, jealousy, sadness, shame, any kind of negative word that I forgot, worry. EFT can be a good friend for you. And it also is good to tap in positive states of mind. Although when you release the negative states of mind, positive states of mind will spontaneously arise. So you're your own healer. But you can deliberately tap in positive states of mind, and that's used a lot in athletics, business, sports, and creative fields like writer's block or something like that. It's very good for that. So it has such a wide application. If you have thoughts and emotions about something, it can probably be helped with EFT. Okay?
Let's do some. So can
Okay.
you show us some?
Sure.
Intro and
Sure. For this demo, you're going to be maintaining your privacy. If it was a real session, it would last about an hour and not 3 minutes. But I would know what your issue was in most cases, although there are ways to do it without knowing what the issue is.
And so you have some certain
Oh, and I
points,
have
and
a
here's
chart.
your chart that you've created.
Yes, this is a chart, and it shows the tapping points. And I'm going to show you those tapping points that are listed on the chart. And I want to say that different practitioners use some different tapping points. There's a variety of techniques, and the wonderful thing is that it all works. So
So can
it's
I
all
ask you
good.
just a quick question?
Yes.
So accuracy, you don't have to be exactly on a point for it to stimulate the point?
It's better to be there
Obviously,
if you
but
can.
if you can't, for some, like if you just lose, because if various people have various techniques, then you can.
No, I mean, some use certain points, some use others, but you should
Okay.
be on the
Okay.
point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like over
down.
there.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
going to help. Or it might if you thought it was going to help. Okay, so I'm going to show you the points. So I'm going to tap on me and say certain statements, and you're going to tap on you and say certain, follow what I guide you in. So just to teach the points, the first point is karate chop. Okay, and you use the tips of your fingers, the 4 fingers. Yeah, either hand, just like you see him break a board, that's the place. Okay, then 2 fingers, eyebrow. And that's good, it's under the eyebrow.
And Therese, does it matter whether or not you switch hands when you go
No,
from?
it's
Okay.
fine, either way
So it's a
fine.
very natural process.
Yes.
It's very intuitive.
Side of the eye, under the eye on the bone.
That feels good.
It does feel good.
It does really feel good.
Under the nose, under the lip, collarbone, under the arm, wrist, top of the head. And then you can just close your mouth and take an easy breath. So that's 1 round.
And are there so many taps per meridian, or is it one breath, or is it?
It's an intuitive,
It's just
yeah, 5 to
intuitive.
7 taps.
Yeah.
Or sometime if you'll get a message, if you're working on something and all of a sudden it feels really good or it's clearing, or some people have their favorite point, you could stay with it. You could stay with it if you wanted.
Okay.
It's very a forgiving technique.
Love that. Love that. It makes
Yeah.
it really accessible for everybody. And
Right.
children, do
Yes.
they use this a lot in schools?
They are starting to use it in schools. I don't know that they use it a lot, but they do use it. And
That's way better than a timeout corner. Take the time and tap instead of sit there and feel bad.
you can use it for children, you can use it for animals, and some people have used it for other purposes also, like for their plants, help their plants to grow, and you could take that however you want it. So let's do a demo, and in an ordinary, usual way of doing this, I would know what your issue is, but because it's public, we're going to guard your privacy, so I'm not going to know what your issue is. What we can share is how intensely upset you are about it, and track it as it releases, or if it should go up, we'll just track it as it changes. So pick an issue in your mind that you are not going to share, but that you would like to release. And pick an emotion and a specific event. For example, and it should be between a level of, on a scale of 0, not at all, to 10, completely upset. Pick something between a 4 and an 8. We're not going to have the biggest upset in your life because we're not going to have time to completely clear it. And I won't know what's going on with you much because you're going to have it in your mind and not share it. So pick something that's like angry at my neighbor because they took my parking space, or upset at myself that I forgot half the stuff I was supposed to bring today, or nervous about taking an exam next week. Something like that. Okay, do you have something like that in your
Yes.
mind? Okay, so just give me your intensity rating. How angry or upset, how upset are you about that?
I'm a 4.
4.
I'm a 6.
6. Okay, so let's do some tapping. And I'm going to give you a general statement of, even though I have this upset, I accept myself.
Okay.
Okay? So you will know that your upset relates to what is in your mind and what you've selected. Okay? Karate, even though, and you'll use the tips of your fingers. Karate point, even though
Even though
Even though
I have this upset,
I have
I have
this
this
upset,
upset,
I accept myself.
I
I
accept,
accept
myself.
myself.
And we do that 3 times. This is called the setup statement. Even though
Even
Even
though
though
I have this upset,
I have this upset,
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Even though I have this upset,
Even though I have this upset,
I respect and appreciate myself.
I respect and appreciate myself.
Then you take the two fingers, the balls of the two fingers inside of the eyebrow point. And this is called the reminder phrase. This upset.
This upset.
This upset.
Side of the eye. This upset.
This upset.
Under the eye, on the bone. This upset.
This upset.
Under the nose. This remaining upset.
This remaining upset.
Under the lip. This upset.
This upset.
Collarbone. This upset.
This upset.
This upset.
Under the arm. This upset.
This upset.
Wrist. This upset.
This upset.
Top of the head. This upset.
This
This
upset.
upset.
Close your mouth. Take a deep breath. So, what are you feeling? Anything? Anything change?
It did change.
Less upset.
Less upset.
Definitely.
How much
upset.
less?
I
Give
would
me a
say it
number.
went down from a 6 to about a 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
good
it was a
job.
Big difference.
Okay, that was
Big
a
difference.
quick
You see, you
result.
got me smiling now, right?
Yeah, okay. And
I went from a 4 down to about a 1 until I recalled what it was I was tapping for, and then it jumped up again. So I still have some more
where did it
anxiety.
jump up to?
It actually went higher.
It went higher.
It went
Okay.
to like a 5 or a 6.
A 5 or a 6. And the 5 or a 6 could indicate that you have some associated things with it.
I sure do.
Okay. Oh, okay. And those associated things are underneath, and those are the core issues, and that is what is coming
Oh,
up.
I love this.
So if you thought of a big barrel of thoughts and emotions, now that you've released some of the ones on top, the subconscious, the other ones are going to be perking up. Oh, there's space. Oh, here we are. Oh, yikes. So that might be what happened to you. You're getting the more serious things pop up, or the things that you've been not wanting to look at. This is their time. You're letting them out.
Right on TV.
So they're
I'm all
yes,
lucky.
they're coming out. They're coming out to play. So that could be why your issue went up, because it might be
Interesting.
about something else that this is connected to.
So could you tell us some stories about your clients, some personal?
We have 1 minute.
Yeah. Do you want to give us just a quick?
Or did you want to do some positive EFT?
Well,
what
I
would
think
you
that
like
'cause
to do?
with 1 minute to go, we should just kind of, get ready to,
Okay.
talk about the
Okay.
what people can do with
Okay,
EFT and how
great.
who can they go to and
Right. All right, so that was a sample. So
Thank you.
that's the negative. There's also opportunities to input positives, and positives are those spontaneously arising from releasing the negative, but there also is a way to deliberately instill positive joy and good emotions. But as far as some examples of how somebody might see that work in their life, I could give you an example of quality of life issue where one client came and she was a widow. It was not a recent widow, but to her, she had never gotten by the pain of being a widow, so it was as if she became a widow the day before, although it was several years. And her partner had died around Thanksgiving.
We're running right out of time.
Oh,
You
so
have to
anyway,
stay tuned.
anyway, she wasn't able to celebrate Thanksgiving, and then after the tapping,
She
she
tapped
invited
right
the
in
whole
and had a family
family
full
to
of
her
people.
house, and they all cooked the meal together.
Well, we're having
So,
Thanksgiving
just to
for
close
you.
it up, I want to thank you very much for
You're
being
welcome.
a guest, and for everyone out there, Emotional Freedom Technique, it's available. You can contact Therese if you want more information, or you can go online and just Google Emotional Freedom Technique, but I think it's going to be one of the most innovative dynamic therapies in America that's going to spread, and it can help all applications, all health applications. So thank you very much, Therese.
Thank you, Therese.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.